Hey guys, my name is Brooke Baxter now. I am going to do my two book talks here. First, I'm going to start off with my chapter book. The book that I chose is Who Was Abraham Lincoln? I was just introduced to this series this week. This is actually one of the books I used for this module this week. I love this series. I was at Barnes & Noble looking for something the other day, and one of the people that worked there was like, hey, maybe you should look into these series, and I love them. I'm already buying them for my classroom just because of, how much I love them. So basically the series is a who was, what was, and where is. Yeah. So for this one, it is Who Was Abraham Lincoln? One thing I did notice though is it's the New York Times best-selling series. So if you have not seen these, go to Barnes & Noble. That's where I got it. They're super cheap, $6. You can't beat it. And I mean, it's a chapter book. So the author is Janet Pascal. There are 99 pages in this book. So, I mean, it's a pretty long chapter book, but I'm thinking it's around like 5th grade level. The Lexile level is 720L. So yeah, I'm thinking about 5th grade. As you can see, there are 99 pages, but the font is big. And one thing, as you can see, that I love about this book is there's pictures. After looking into this book, I was thinking about all of the history reports and things I had to do over the years in school and how I always could not stand it. I dreaded doing history reports because the books always bored me. I never had fun with them. I mean, even in elementary school. So this, I think, is a game changer. Because it's very informational. It's nonfiction. But as you go through the book, it has pictures. And not only does it have pictures, but it has like little side scripts that like give you more information. So like, for example, on page 23, get there. Here we go. So up to this point, the book is talking about the political parties during this time of Lincoln's presidency. And it talks about the Whigs and the Democrats. Well, so basically what happens is the story kind of pauses. And then it gives you more information about the Whigs. I don't know if you can see it or not, but like the Whigs and the Democrats. And I thought that was just such a good thing because how many times have you, maybe in the past, or you've known a student who did this? They're reading a book, they come across a word or a phrase or something that they don't know, and they just keep going. And I mean, with this, they don't have to stop and go get their phone out or whatever and search it. It's right there. There's several spots like that though, and it's not even just like definitions, but like here's one for Frederick Douglass. So it's talking about Frederick Douglass, and it gives you a little bit more background about him. Another thing I really liked on page 88 was so here's another picture that I was telling you about. These pictures, I love them. I mean, like I said, who I would love to have had picture books of like history books that I could read, because although it's nonfiction and it's real, it's like it's telling a story. It is telling a story, but it gives you pictures for that story. So like here, it's talking about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, and me being to, this is kind of like a off note, but me going to DC and seeing this, like sitting in this spot and looking at this picture, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's like so real. So I thought that was really cool. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys is this timeline in the back. And this happens in like all of the series. They have different things like this, but like I said, this is just the who was. But it gives you a timeline not only of Abraham's Lincoln's life, but then, so here's Abraham Lincoln's life, but then it compares it to the timeline of the world. And I thought that was just really cool. I honestly think this book is just such a good book in the classroom. I am already asking for more books of this for Christmas. I know that's such, like, what are you asking for Christmas? Yeah, I'm asking for books like this for Christmas because I think this itself is going to change the way kids look at history assignments or reading assignments, because this can be used as just an individual reader, just like, when you have free time and you say, hey, kids, let's all go get your individual book to read. Or you could use this as just a history report book. And I mean, it's so much fun. So if you haven't got this book, or you want to put it on your idea log, do it, because it's so good. I love this series. So that's my chapter book. My next book is The Spiffiest Giant in Town, and the author is Julia Donaldson. To start off, though, I want you to imagine walking by these scenarios. So you're walking down and you see that this fox has dropped his sleeping bag in this puddle and he's about to go to sleep. Well, you don't want anybody to sleep on a wet sleeping bag, right? So there's one instance that happens in this book. And what about this boat? This animal can't get across the water because his sail broke. What would you think if you walked across that and saw that? Or what about these mice? These mice were living in this home, and this home was burnt down. Wouldn't it make you after you walk past these things, these scenarios, wouldn't it make you kind of feel bad for them, or want to do something for them? But those are just a few of these scenarios in this book. I chose this book to read to first grade. I think this could be a book read at the beginning of the year. The Lexile level is 8600L, so obviously it's adult directed, which I think is a good idea because you could do so much with this book. I did use this book earlier in the semester for a assignment, but I love this book because it teaches lessons, and like I said, I think it's a good book to begin the year off with. So basically, let me just turn the page to it. So basically, this giant, he's one of the main characters. He is the main character. He needs to go get clothes, so he gets clothes. He's walking through the village after he gets his clothes. And the first thing he comes across is this giraffe. Well, the giraffe is really, really cold. And, well, the giant was like, oh, well, look, I have a tie. I'll give you my tie, and so on and so on. That happens a couple times. So, here is the mice where their house burnt down. And, of course, the giant, being the friendly, nice guy he is, he gives them his shoe to live in. And I just, I know this is obviously it's a fiction book, but it really teaches a good lesson because, during this whole book, the giant is taking all the clothes that he just bought for himself, that he just spent money on, and he's giving it to all these different characters in the book. He's giving it to the mice, to the goat. I think that's a goat. That's not a goat. To this animal, and to the fox, and to the giraffe. And then at the end, I don't want to spoil it, but he gets something back from them. And I think this would be a good book to start off the year with because it could talk about sharing and caring for others. And, first grade, I think that's a big thing to talk on just because, they're just now, they've been in school for kindergarten, but they can talk about how important it is to share. And when you do share, people share back with you, just like how the Spiffiest Giant was sharing all his things. Well, then the animals put together this box with all his things back in it, and then they wrote him a note. So I just think this is a really good book for the classroom. I honestly love both of these books, so if you don't have these on your list, I strongly encourage you to put them on them because they're so good and I love them so much. But that's my book talk.